like a scratching sound.
A scratching sound?
Okay. Wait a minute, we can kill it. Let me make the clock.
I recently returned, and by recently I mean like 3 weeks ago, I returned from my first ever trip to Peru, and I had the opportunity to hike Macchu Picchu. It was incredible, and it's kind of one of those bucket list type of things, right? That said, the trek that we did, the Salkantay trek, and the group that we went with, I mean, the group was cool, but just the company, I wouldn't recommend it. Anyway, whole long story. I'm going to talk about everything here, like the trip. We were only there for like 8 days, but I'm going to kind of give you like my experience and advice. The thing about Macchu Picchu is it's not somewhere like, I don't want to say it's not easily accessible, but it's not. Like, it's not like you can just, oh, I'm going to fly to Macchu Picchu and stay there for the weekend. No. Like, you have to get to Cusco, which, I mean, I don't think there's a direct flight from the US to Cusco. You have to fly to Lima and then Cusco, and then from there by bus, train, car, whatever, you have to get to Aguas, calientes, and then from there there's like the bus shuttle that takes people up to, I guess you could hike the Inca Trail, but to do that you also need a special permit, which you need to book however much in advance. And the easiest way to do it is to go through like one of these like trek companies that they have in Peru, and they're like 3-day, 5-day, 6-day. There are different variations for how long you want to be hiking / camping. We flew to Lima and stayed there for 1 night, just at a hotel by the airport. We got in pretty late last night. I slept maybe like 6 hours, 6 hours. And the next morning, we took a flight like around 11 or so to get to Cusco. And the flight from Lima to Cusco, I think it's like an hour and some change. We got soles, which is the Peruvian cash, right? I think like 3.6. I think it's like, it reminds me of like dirhams to dollars. It's like around 3.6 soles is a dollar. There are a bunch of different ATMs in the airport, so I'm just gonna give you my advice. Interbank and Scotiabank. Scotiabank took a higher fee than Interbank. And now we are here in Cusco. The elevation is like 10,000, 11,000 feet, is that right?
11,000.
11,000. I felt totally fine. I felt a little bit, since we checked into our hotel room and it actually has no windows. So I'm kind of missing natural light, and that's when I started to feel a little bit dizzy. I would say the first thing we noticed in Cusco from the time we got into the cab is the flags. It looks like the pride flag. Actually, there is a subtle difference. So the flag of Cusco, or their municipal flag or whatever, has 7 stripes. Like there's an extra blue, like a light blue stripe. Whereas the LGBTQ pride flag, I believe, has 6 stripes. But it's like, they look almost identical. So it's like, at first glance, you're like, oh, it's like they're also celebrating Pride Month, you know, because we went there in June. But he's like, oh no, that's our Cusco flag. And then next month in July, it's gonna go back to the flag of Peru. After dinner, we had a 7 p.m. briefing at the reservations place. So we went with a tour company called Macchu Picchu Reservations. It was a 3-day, 2-night Salkantay trek. The way to get to Macchu Picchu is either the Salkantay Trail, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Salkantay Trail, or the Inca Trail. The Inca Trail apparently is a lot more crowded and you need a permit, whereas and a guide, whereas with Salkantay you don't. It's a bit longer, and there are different ways of doing the Salkantay Trail, but we thought, okay, since we didn't plan that far in advance, like not 6 months in advance, we planned like 2 months in advance. So we went with, okay, we'll just do the Salkantay trek. And instead of doing it just the 2 of us, because like I didn't want to be carrying my backpack or with like a tent and a sleeping bag, like no, I mean, there are like lodges along the way. We'll use one of those companies, and would they also kind of give you the option to carry with a duffel bag that a horse or mule will be carrying your stuff on, so it's less for you to carry on your back. They kind of sort it out for you, like, okay, make sure you're on track in terms of timing. So yeah, Macchu Picchu Reservations is the company. They seem to have great reviews. We go to the briefing at 7 p.m. the night before our trek was supposed to start. And for our trek, they were gonna pick us up at 2 a.m. the next day to meet up with another group. I guess that's how it works if you choose the 3-day option. And they gave us the duffel bags that we were gonna pack up to 7 kgs, and that'll go like on the mule or horse, right? So we take the duffel bags, we go back to our hotel, we pack, get everything sorted. We were gonna go back to the same hotel for our after the trek, so we kind of packed everything, like had our checked bags that we were gonna take downstairs and leave at the front, leave with them, and then our duffel bags and our backpacks for the trek. Hey guys, it's 2 o'clock a.m. We're here in Cusco, Peru. about to head to the trailhead to hike Macchu Picchu. The car comes to pick us up, drops us at another place where another car takes us the rest of like 3 hours or something. And then we have to walk like 45 minutes up a hill to meet the rest of the group who had been, they're doing the 4-day one, and so they had been camping that night. It was cold up there, by the way. I mean, I was bundled up, but still, like, it's cold. And the first day of the hike, I would say, is the most challenging because we hike up to the Salkantay, the peak, which is at 15,200 feet.
So 20 hours ago, we were at 100 feet in Cusco, or not Cusco, 100 feet in Lima, and prior to that, we were at 100 feet in Houston, where we live. We're at 14.7 now, and
We definitely did not acclimate to the altitude.
the acclimation didn't happen, so we're breathing pretty hard.
Yeah, I would say the first half of the day was just, especially when we're getting close to the top, because the elevation, you know, we're getting to 15,000 feet every few seconds. It's like, you're breathing so fast. And to the point where I felt my lungs were kind of like tingling. And I'll show you some videos from the top. We did like a little ritual for the Andean gods. And then we started going back down, and we stopped for lunch. And the food, I couldn't even eat this. There was like a soup that was like watery. I couldn't even. And then a piece of eggplant with 2 pieces of tomato. Anyway, we keep hiking. I think it was like 12 or 13 miles the first day. And the good thing is at least the weather got warmer because we started to go down, right? We're descending in altitude. We get to the campsite for the first night.
Inside here where we're filming, it actually looks kind of nice. This is the best. This in here is like the best you see in this whole campsite.
It really is.
For me, what sums this up is the toilets don't have seats. None of them do. Why?
No, I'm very down to earth, chill. I mean, Rob can attest to that.
Of course.
Well, it's like 50 degrees outside.
Oh, it's colder than 50 now. It's supposed to get down to freezing. To,
Oh my God.
0 tonight.
And then now I think I just saw a
0
moth in our
Celsius.
place. There's so many things. I mean, the food is way below what I expected. I mean, today was like edible compared to lunch. Like I couldn't even eat the soup they gave to us at lunch. The guy who's our tour guide, Joel, he's a good guy. I don't think he's trying to like, but I do think the company could do a lot better in terms of communication. You know, and communication and coordination. I walked in the kitchen where they're cooking the dinner. There were 2 moths flying around in the kitchen.
Yeah, the health inspector didn't make his rounds.
It was just, it got to be like below 40 degrees that night. There was no heating in there. We had our sleeping bags and like a mattress pad, and dinner was like, again, some like, I mean, at least the soup, it was like a watery ramen. Think of a ramen with 10% of the noodles and just like some broth. And we had to wake up at 5 the next morning because they wanted, I think, no, breakfast was at 5:30, and we had, no, maybe breakfast was at 5, we had to leave at 5:30, something crazy like that. And we had to pay 10 sols to use hot water at the showers. Of course you're gonna pay the extra 10 sols. Like, are you gonna take a cold shower when it's 40 degrees outside? The second day, we kept on hiking, but it was kind of like a road. It didn't feel like a real trail. It was just like felt like we were just walking on a road. We get to a coffee plantation.
There is coming the coffee beans skin, no? No? Enjoy. Cheers.
We took the bus again to get to some train tracks, and we're gonna leave our bags there, then walk, and then the Hydroelectrica. Tonight's we're gonna be at a hotel / hostel. I'm not really sure yet.
We will find out.
Yeah, and they did say that they have a shower, like showers attached to the rooms, like en suites, which is really important because last night we did not have that. And you know, it'd be nice if there's toilet paper too. We're used to like carrying toilet paper with us now. And we had to keep stopping as well because there was construction on the roads. I don't know what time we got to the Hydroelectrica. It was sometime in the early afternoon, maybe. And remember, the day started at like 5:30 for us, right? So the second day, we walked all the way to Aguas Calientes. And that's kind of like, it looks like a ski town. It's kind of like that's the town where most people stay if they're going to Macchu Picchu. It's like you take the bus shuttle there to the Macchu Picchu entrance, right?
Last night we were in a hotel slash hostel. I don't know what the difference is, but they didn't have any towels there. Like there was toilet paper, but like no soap. And the bathroom had all these flies in it. I should have taken a picture at night because there was like an open window you couldn't even close.
It's like there's open windows everywhere
all
here.
these flies. And I mean,
Even though it's
at least there was
cold.
hot water, but I was just like, I washed myself as quick as I could, got out, like, went to bed, and it was just, there's no heating or AC. There's no heating is what we needed.
The next morning that's when I started to wake up feeling sick. We had to get up at like 4. And yeah, my throat at that point was starting to hurt, because of like days of like overexertion, not proper nutrition, not enough sleep.
Had bread for breakfast.
They gave us pieces of bread and then like some jam and butter.
Yeah, that's the one thing on this, the mismatch between the nutrition provided from the tour and the amount of energy you expend hiking. We took the shuttle up, and some people hiked.
At
And
4:30 a.m.
for taking the shuttle, okay, yeah, that wasn't a big deal. But for the people that were hiking, it's really you had to get supplemental nutrition. You'll lose a lot of weight simply, and the food. You'll eat food you normally would just kind of push off to the side to say, oh, never mind, I feel hungry.
Yeah.
Or I don't feel hungry. Now you're just like, yeah, that chocolate-covered roach, I'll eat that.
Morning. No, I did not get my lips done. They're just swollen from sunburn.
And then we got in a bus to go see Macchu Picchu.
And then what are these? Can you tell us about these like metal things that are kind of in the ground?
I don't exactly know what they are, but my best guess is they're to prevent erosion.
It's an incredible place to be. It is gorgeous. So
Yeah, and for all that, like, we decided to take the bus. That was definitely the right move for us, given how, we're from Houston, so when you do a 3,000-foot ascent and a 6,000-foot descent on the first day, your legs aren't going to be very pleased with that.
right.
So despite the trek not being what I expected it to be, it still couldn't detract from the beauty of Macchu Picchu.
So we're really looking forward to like taking a few days and relaxing after this, like the train to Puno, chilling, sleeping. And I remember before coming here, I was like worried that, going to Puno on that train on Wednesday, we're not going to be getting enough steps in. And I'm like, now, we got more than enough steps. I think the last 2 days we got about 40,000 steps.
Per day.
Yeah. And when we were ready, we took the bus back to Aguas calientes, and we had lunch there and just like chilled for a bit before catching the train from there to Ollantaytambo. Okay. We got back to Cusco, close to the Macchu Picchu reservations office. And we thought there'd be like a shuttle back to our hotel, but there wasn't, so we had to walk. And I, at that point, was in flip-flops because my ankle, I couldn't wear those hiking boots anymore. We got back from Macchu Picchu, I got my duffel bag, put my flip-flops on, that's it. A side note, people say, go in the dry season, the winter, because there aren't any bugs. I still got some bug bites, and I still, 3 weeks later, I still have the marks from my bug bites. We walked back to our hotel, which was maybe half a mile. It wasn't that far. Got some food, went to a pharmacy, and by the way, the pharmacies there, you can pretty much get anything over the counter, and it's pretty cheap. The Perurail train from Cusco to Puno is great. It looks really it's like Orient Express type of feel. It's really cool, and they serve you lunch and afternoon tea as well. And then also there's entertainment in the bar car and dancing, and it's like a 10-hour train ride, something like that. When I was just not feeling well, it was just nice to just relax in the train. It stops off at one point at this little market so we can buy stuff, but it was very touristy kind of market, they're there just for us. Checked into our hotel where we stayed for the last 3 nights, and I think that city is 13,000 feet or something, Puno. At that point I was just very sick, so I think the day after we got, I was pretty much sleeping most of the day. The last few days were just really spent for me mostly relaxing. Oh, we did do one thing on our last full day in Puno. We took this ferry to these floating islands, and there's a floating island tour, right? And our guide was great, kind of telling us about how people live on these islands.
Oh yeah. We have 15 or 20 meters in this full channel of, we call Isla, that's island, Los Uros, Suma, Chagua. Chagua, that's a fish in Aymara. Good fish, the name of the sport. for eating all the community. It's special, like a chicken of the Lake Titicaca. Yeah. We have blackbird, and we have the yellow beak. Yeah. And this is dry. Here, no freezer, just with salt they keep.
We flew from Juliaca to Lima, and then like 6 or 7 hours after we got there, we had our flight to Houston. Overall, if I were to do this again, I would probably use a different company than Macchu Picchu reservations. Like I feel like some things weren't communicated. The itinerary that they wrote down versus what we had, you know, there were days where it's like we're supposed to leave at 7 a.m. to leave the hike, and then we ended up leaving at 6.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, you have to leave at 6. And I'm like, okay. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Curious to hear if you've been to Peru, what your experience was like, if you've hiked Macchu Picchu. Let me know, yeah, like what are your tips for people as well. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.